What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we have some interesting news over on Japan, which says there's a brand new legend vote, which is pretty obscure. I wasn't really expecting them to come out and just say, hey, you know, here's another legend vote, let's see what happens, and these are the characters you can vote for. Remember, this did happen last year. It was a little bit earlier on in the year, I believe, because they did a multi-poll where you could vote for one set of characters, and then there was another set of characters in the following week. Now, we don't know if that's going to be the same structure this time around, whether it's just going to be one or another. We'll have to wait and see. But if this is only a one legend poll vote, it does, you know, bring some other questions, not only about what this character is going to be releasing as, but what characters would this character release with, and that's what I want to discuss in this video today. So here we have the stuff from the Treasure Cruise subreddit Discord, and this is the poll. So this is starting from the 1st of June until the 7th of June, so essentially a week to vote, and the characters are Mr. 2 Bon Clay, Tashigi, Emporio Ivankov, and Caesar Clown. Now, what's interesting about this is that both Emporio Ivankov and Caesar Clown have both been in previous character polls, literally last year when I was talking about Smoker and Sugar being the voted character. These two characters were on those polls. The Ivankov was on the Sugar poll, and then the Caesar Clown was on the Smoker poll. So it's interesting that those characters are making a return. However, something else that is kind of interesting is that for the other polls that were on last year, characters such as Reiju, Bonnie were on there. So Bonnie's already got a legend. I can't remember who else was on the female poll. It was Reiju, Bonnie, Sugar, and Ivankov, right? So those were the four in the female poll. Well, yeah, the female poll. And then the male poll was, it was Smoker, Kuma, Caesar Clown, and Gecko Moria, right? So what's interesting is that some of the characters that were on last year's poll are not on this poll, and they've just introduced new characters. So that leads me to believe that characters that are not on this poll, but were on the poll last year, are probably already in the pipeline. Characters like Kuma, potentially Reiju. Now, I've got a big theory that Reiju's probably going to be the next summer legend. That's just my tinfoil hat theory. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. You know, characters like that, because, you know, Bonnie, Moria have already come out now. So potentially Ivankov and Caesar Clown probably weren't in the pipeline, but characters, as I said, such as Reiju, Kuma, might be ready to go. So I'm really hoping that is the case, okay? So this is interesting, okay? Now, in this video, I want to talk about my ideal, like, artwork and kind of the scenery of the character. I'm not really too sure, obviously, on abilities. We can kind of speculate. But what other characters could release alongside them? Because we saw with the release of Whitebeard vs. Shanks, that was a poll character, and that released alongside a new legend, Marco. So if they do the same thing here, where they release, hypothetically, a Bon Clay character, what would release alongside him? So let's get into it. So here is obviously just a quick little icon artwork that I've put together here of the 4 characters, so that's pretty cool. But I've actually got the Viz manga open right now, into different scenes of where I think these characters could be based off of. So for Bon Clay, I think the most memorable scene of him is when he saved Luffy and the crew from leaving Impel Down. I think it'd be cool if we have a Bon Clay character dressed up in the Warden outfit, you know, in front of Magellan. I think that would be a really, really dope artwork for him. I just think that is the most memorable moment of him. I mean, you could potentially go all the way back to Alabasta. That would also be fine, but I think honestly, like, this would be like a really good unevolved artwork right here, where he's like in front of Magellan doing his little stance, but then like the evolved artwork could be him crying on the transponder snail. I think that would be really, really dope for him, actually. So that could be potentially what he could be. And in terms of his abilities, I mean, like, Bon Clay's that character that can change his appearance, obviously. So it would be cool if we actually finally get a character in the game that has the ability to transform into a different typing. I think that would be so, so cool. Like an ability like, for one turn, select one enemy target, and then you become the character that's super effective against that enemy. I think that would be super unique for the character. You know, we have characters like Douglas Bullet, for example, which are super effective all the time. But, you know, he does that additional damage and stuff, which can be nerfed by certain debuffs. But if they give Mr. 2 something like that, and then, you know, we have that other Rare Recruit Mr. 2. It's not a Rare Recruit Mr. 2, but that, like, free-to-play one that came out with Treasure Map VV. where depending on what debuff is on your crew, or what buff is on the enemy side of the field, you get like a different effect. They might do something like that. We'll have to wait and see, of course, if this character even wins the poll. But I think Mr. 2 is a pretty good candidate for a new legend. Now, what could release alongside him? I mean, obvious candidates, if it's going to be anything like this, it could legit just be a new Magellan. If you go through the Alabaster, it could potentially be a new Sanji character. But personally, I think the best bet would be like a new Buggy legend, because, I mean, Buggy was a big part of Impel Down. I mean, initially I was thinking like maybe Hannibal, but I feel Buggy V2 would be a little bit of a better choice, and make him actually a character that gives you high damage output, you know, compared to his V1 counterpart, which is a bit of a meme that just gives you additional drops. I think if they go down a different route with actually making him a really good legend, I think that would be nice. You know, potentially do a dual unit between him and Mr. 3 in the Impel Down outfits. That'd be pretty dope. So that would be like probably my #1 choice if this character was the legend, to be like Magellan outfit and then like a simultaneous release with a Buggy and Mr. 3 Impel Down. That'd be pretty dope. Now, the second unit on the list is Tashigi. Now, in terms of the one that I've selected here, this scene is from around the time of Dressrosa, where it was like the end of Dressrosa, where Fujitora apologized to King Riku, and then you have a little cutback to Tashigi and Smoker on the boat, where Tashigi's looking after Smoker. I think this would be a really awesome scene for Tashigi and Smoker together. Now, I think in terms of what she could do as a character, I mean, there's so many different things they could do for Tashigi. I mean, they could do, probably going to be slasher related, let's be real here. So like what the slashers really need at this point, they probably don't need too much. So I really don't know what they could do for Tashigi. But in terms of a simultaneous release character, I think a brand new Fujitora would be pretty awesome. I know that a lot of people would say Smoker would be a really good idea, but I feel like that's a little bit too on the nose, and they would probably want to go down a little bit of a different route. Not really too sure though. I mean, they could definitely do a V2 Smoker alongside Tashigi, but I think also a Fujitora could definitely be on the cards as well. You know, him eating his bowl of noodles, like right here in this scene, right, like literally in this scene together, would be pretty dope. I'll have to wait and see what they do. Tashigi is one that I don't think is going to win the poll, but you know, if she did, I think that'd be a pretty awesome choice. They could make her cerebral based as well. They could even make her free spirit. I know there's lots of different things they could do for Tashigi, but definitely not one of the ones that I would vote for. I think Mr. 2 Bon Clay would definitely be my choice at the moment, but still an interesting character nonetheless. Now, the third choice is Ivankov, which, as I said earlier, is a character that was already in one of the previous legend votes. Now, in terms of a character for Ivankov, I think it would be perfect if it was based on the Reverie arc right at the start, where all of the Revolutionary Army were meeting together on Ivankov's island, the Kamabaka Kingdom. If they all met here, and Ivankov's artwork is him obviously in the middle, and you've got like the big table in the background with all of the Revolutionary Army surrounding him, that would be an amazing artwork. And I could already imagine a really cool ink effect with like the Sakura blossoms or the cherry trees, whatever it is, just around him would be so cool. And as for abilities, I mean, it's hard to say. Ivankov can do a lot of really cool things in the game currently. Lots of Ivankovs are based on healing, damage reduction, debuff removal. So you could have Ivankov be like a really OP debuff removal character. I'd be totally down with that. Maybe a really good super type that can remove a lot of different debuffs on your side of the field. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, but I think Ivankov is a pretty solid choice for a legend for sure. And as for a counterpart legend, I think if they went through that same route, because you have like Bello Betty here, for example, the Koala was also the same that released alongside this, like literally from the Kamabaka Kingdom, like all the Revolutionary Armies together, they could potentially do like a Revolutionary Army crew character with like Sabo, Koala, and then the commanders would be pretty dope, or even drop Koala and just have Sabo and the commanders potentially. I'm not really too sure, or even just have just the commanders, like no Sabo, no Koala, and just the commanders as like a super type character, or potentially like a dual unit, like a crew unit like Shanks' crew. I think that like these two releasing together with Ivankov and then like the Revolutionary Army captains would be epic as hell. I would totally be down for that. So honestly, if they were to do that, that would be my choice, and this would probably be my #1 choice out of all 4 so far. Now, the last character on this list is going to be Caesar Clown. So for Caesar Clown, the scene that I always find so funny with Caesar is when he is in Gangster Gastino form, and you know, you got Big Mom screaming and the mirror shatters right as they're about to leave through the mirror world. I think that would be an absolutely hilarious artwork. I mean, this could potentially be even like a 5-star artwork, but either way, this would be a fantastic fantastic choice for the artwork in general. And then as for the counterpart character that could release alongside him, well, I think it'd be cool if we did a Brûlé character. I mean, you could definitely do like a new Capone. You could potentially even do like a new Luffy or a Chopper or a Nami. There's a lot of different options here. But you know, we did just get Fire Tank Pirates recently, so it probably won't be a Capone character. It could potentially be a Jinbei unit, you know, or it could be an enemy. Maybe if it's like a new Smoothie, like Smoothie alongside it would be pretty cool as well. But I think just because, you know, Gangster Gastino had to hold Brûlé on his in the backpack, then it makes a lot of sense if they release a Brûlé alongside a brand new Caesar Clown. That would be pretty cool. And as for what Caesar could do, I mean, a lot of Caesars are dealing around poison and stuff, but because this particular form of Gangster Gastino wasn't really dealing with poison, he was just kind of like there, just doing his own thing. They could go through a lot of different routes. Maybe potentially like a conditional boost where he can go through immunity or something like that would be pretty interesting. But there's lots of options, and we just don't know that much right now. But obviously a lot of Caesar clans in the game are based off of poison, and if they were going to make him a legend, he's probably going to be based around utilizing the poison mechanic in some way, shape, or form, right? But that's the rundown, chat. That's the rundown. I said chat, but either way, you guys in the comment section, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Who would you choose, and what counterpart character would you want for these particular units as well? So that's going to end this video today. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.